Hello, my name is Dimitri. I'm here with Ugears US, UKids LLC. Today we're going to be assembling Tugboat. That's one of the newer models. Once again, well, I always try to assemble new models. So this one, let's see, we just got it about a month and a half ago. So it is a fairly new. So let's go ahead and start it up. As a reminder always in beginning, just remind you that we can get you the replacement parts if anything breaks during the assembly. If you purchase the model from us, that's not going to cost you anything. If you purchase the model elsewhere, also not going to cost you anything, but I can order from the manufacturer. Or if you want it expedited for me to ship from the local warehouse, US warehouse, then there's a small fee of $3.50 to ship the parts. The parts are still free, just to cover the shipping costs to you. Let's see, so it looks like there's 4 boards. Inside we have some string, let's see, sandpaper, candle wax, nylon string, some rubber bands, smaller and larger, some thick and thicker. So let's put it aside. Go ahead and put the boards on the side too for now. Let's go ahead and start with the instructions. So first page always covers a little bit of the warnings and stuff. There is now a new section added on there showing you which parts are spare and that they're available on the boards in the same package. So if any of these parts that are listed here break, you can find a spare part on the boards. Once again, if some other parts break, just go ahead and contact me and we'll go from there. So regular science legend that is inside the manual. We have the candle wax. That's a little candle wax, tea candle wax with gear and a toothpick in there. Exclamation point, that means you do need to pay the attention to what's going on there. Little fan that's free moving, it's easily rotational or moving back and forth. Sandpaper, that's when you need to use the sandpaper. Obviously the X-Acto knife when you need to cut the toothpick, or you can just break it in half. And here you got a little scale with the actual size. So the rubber bands, you can use that scale. You can use the scale in the manual, which is also to scale. And then also on part number H, which is the helping tool, which is on board number 4. So it's on the last board right here, bottom left corner. So it's got a little measurement on there too. So it is also to scale. So as you see, my mat is has some measurement marks on here, so it's perfectly in millimeters. So let's go ahead and start the assembly. We are on page number 1, step number 1. So we need parts 1, 2 of them. They're both on board number 1. And top right corner here. So we get those 2. We get a thick, no, it's actually 10 millimeters. So we'll get a thin one. Thin, thick, second thickest. That's the half. Rubber band, and then we insert part number 1. Rubber band into that part number 1. And the way you do it, you just stretch the rubber band a little bit, and it kind of slides into the opening. As you stretch it, it goes right in. And then you can push it out a little bit to get it to the right size. Stretch it a little more if you need to fix it. and I'm already struggling with it. Just like that, and you do the same thing on the opposite end. Part number 1. So I'm stretching rubber band as I'm inserting it into the slot. That way it goes in much smoother. And now we need 2 parts number 2, also on board number 1, top right corner. Put them together, and then we insert the rubber band piece on one side first, and with the cutout facing down. I guess that wouldn't, well, you want to be able to insert it any other way. Pull out a little bit of rubber band to get it out, and then we actually bring the other part over, rotate it around, and put it in on the other end. So I'm gonna pull a little bit of a rubber band out so it gets in there easy. And now you wrap it around the wheel, one side. One part of the rubber band, and then the other one you just flip on the other side. So it kind of covers the full circle. Just like that. So you got nice little wheel there. Now we, step number 4, we take parts number 3, 4, 5, and 92. So all of them are on the same board. Part number 3 is to the right of the center line, a little bit, almost on the right hand corner there. 2 number 4s, or left hand corner, sorry. 2 number 4s. 2 number 5s are right at the center here. And then parts number 92. Are on the right in the middle, so I'm just gonna pull that part of the board out and get 2 of them that I need out. So here we got we need to sand parts number 92 to make it to make them nice and round, which are the smaller parts. So I usually use my little filing tool, or you can use the sandpaper that was provided inside the box. So you just need only a couple moves through it just to get the connection points out, and then we need to wax the gears and these parts. So waxing the gears. Number 5. And then once you and then wax 92 all around also. I will just in case also do the same thing to number 4s. I don't think, well, it doesn't show that they're going to be used, but I usually when I see something in cylindrical shape, most of the time it goes inside of something. So, but in either case, the little wax not going to hurt it. Alright, and then I take that wheel and insert part number 3 right at the center. Since it's symmetrical, you just need to make sure that it sits perfectly nice in there. Parts number 4 on one side. both of them, and then lock it up with 92, and then 2 5s on the other side, and also lock it up with part number 92. So we're done with the step number 4. Moving to step number 5, we need part number 8, 8, and 7. And so part number, I'm gonna take some parts on the side there. 8, 8 is on the left right here, and part number 7 is on right at the center, almost at the top. Take it upside down so the curvature is up, and then part number 8, 8A, with all the components facing up, we're inserted in the right hand hole there, so as far as it can go. And then that goes in part number 6, which is that large part that kind of fell out already for me. So I'll take all the other components out. That will be used later in the assembly. So now with the hole facing, that circular hole facing down, the little tab facing up, I insert part number 7 with the center right into this hole and next to the big circular hole there. Okay, set it together. And then the wheel with the gears facing towards me, I put that gear right into that smaller hole on a part number 8A. And then I take part number AB, also on the same board right next where the A was. And then with the longer part inserting into the hole into number 7, the circular hole goes part number 92 on the sub-assembly with the wheel. So put it in and then just fiddle it in place. So we're done with step number 8. Moving on to the next page. Here we need parts number 9, which is top right, the most upper part right now that we have. So that one goes from the longer side into the opening right here. And then parts number 10 and 11, the 10 is the smaller one, and we are ready to count 4 and 3 out of it. And 11 is the larger piece underneath it. So just work it back and forth to get it out. Careful not to break the parts. Now with the part number 10, that goes on the bottom with the little tab on the farther side. So if you insert it from the right, it goes into the bottom slots there. Make sure everything inserted all the way, and be careful not to break the part, as it is pretty fragile. So just like that. And then number 11 goes right above it. There is openings there with a little design facing towards the top. So that goes on the top portion. Just line up the holes and insert them in. It should slide pretty easy, and make sure it's all the way in. Just like that. And step number 10, part number 12, and that part is located on, also on board number 1. It's right at the center here, to the left a little bit. And my part number 17 is falling out. I just need to make sure that I know that it's 17. I'm gonna put it on the side. So with the 12, with a little tab here and that opening facing towards you, board is still in the same direction. We insert it into the opening right next to the part number 9 that was set in there. And then our second step, which is number 11, we press it against the number 9 and obviously that main body. And there's 3 tabs that we need to engage. Just like that. All right, we're done with step number 11. Moving on to the step number 1 on the bottom there. We need parts number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 2 18s. So those part number 17 was falling out, so I'm gonna grab it right away, put it on the left where it's supposed to go. 2 number 18s are on that board number 1. So we put them 1 on each side where they're supposed to go. Number 16 is on the bottom left here, the same board. Number 15 is to the left of number 12. A little left, to the left of the center line. The number 14 is on the same board. And 13 was on the same board too. And now a couple of pieces that already fell out. So 14 is closer to the number 18. That board is empty now. I can pitch it in the garbage. And then a little part number 13 is in one of the cutouts that was part of 6, I believe. Alrighty, so now here what we need is to send number 18s. Send the connection points just to make sure they're nice and smooth, because they're gonna go inside of the some assembly and they're gonna be rotating. And now we need to use the wax those up. It does show in the next step, so I'm just gonna do it right now to make it easy here. So we're waxing this up. We're waxing part number 15. We're waxing part number 16. All right, now we need to assemble all that. So the first, we're gonna move from the side. So 13 with that opening facing towards you, and 14 we insert from the other side. Now number 15, there's 2 little tabs. So the tab, that opening, kind of facing the clockwise direction if you look from the left side, counterclockwise if you look for bars number 13 and 14. So we just put it in, so that opening needs to match the little tab on the 13, or like cut out on number 13. 18 goes from the other direction on the right hand side all the way until it clicks in. Now number 16 with the teeth, let's see, from the left, this should be facing, the sharp edges should face the counterclockwise direction, and that's how it goes over number 15. Then we lock it up with number 17. And number 18 on the outside. Just like that, we got our sub-assembly. Next step, it shows to wax the little number 18, which we already have done. And I'm gonna put it on the side, moving on to the next step. Just clean up the little wax here. So now we need parts number 24 on board number 4. It's right in the center, like right below the middle there. Then we need parts on board number 2, top left, 19 and 20, top left. Then 221s, which is also on board number 2. And let's see, part number 22, which was on board number 1, the little tiny parts, they're in the cutout. So we just need 1 for now. So 20, let's see, put 2 gears together. 19 goes from the left side all the way up to the tip. Now make sure, I'd say to make sure the gears match. So you might need to rotate it slightly to get them matched up. And make sure it doesn't have any little burrs. It's usually those preventing from nice clean rotation. So then the 20 goes from the other side, kind of locking the gears onto those parts. So they're not gonna go anywhere unless you try to disassemble. So the 20 is from the left, and then 24 enters from the shorter side. With the let's see, so 19 will be in horizontal location. 2 little dots should be towards the top. And then we'll lock it up with number 22. I guess I don't know if that matters which way it's facing. It might be just showing that, make sure it's at gear number 24, not 23 or something. All right, so the next step, we wax the little gears, and we wax I should have known that we could have waxed it before. And then I'll send out that part number 22 a little bit, all the connection points, and also apply the wax to it. Alright, so next step is we take that large sub-assembly. We need parts number 23, which is also on board number 4, below the center on the right, below the middle. And then part 22, the second one that we had it on the little part there. So right away I'll send down the 22 and put a little wax on it. And this sub-assembly goes right into this opening, circular opening right here. Next step is you insert part number 24 with the 2 dots facing up, and then part 23 we insert with the dots facing down. That way the wheels are offset, and then we lock it up with the number 22. And we're done. Next step, we need parts number, let's see, 27 on board number 2. 27 on the left hand side here. It's a long piece with some internal parts. Take out this internal piece. Then we need part number 28, which is also on the same board. It's to the right of the middle, like right at the middle, to the right of the center line. Part number 29 would be on board number 3. bottom right. Parts number 39 and 46 back onto number 2. So 39 is right here, that piece. There's 2 of them. I just need 1 for now. And then it's to the right, top right, and a little bit to the right. And then part number 46. Let's see where it would be. It's right underneath that part number 27 that we took out on the left hand side there. All right, so lift up, the wording wind up towards you. Wind up, sorry. Let's see, and where there's a little slot on a part number 28 should be to the left, and then it goes through the 2 top holes, one on the left hand side, the most left holes at the top. Insert it there. And then part number 29, let's see, with the little design facing towards you, that goes on these 2, like on the bottom 2 little openings or holes, and you just insert it onto part number 28. Then part number 46 goes on the right hand side with that little tab on the diagonal surface facing up, that goes into the left 2 holes. Right 2 holes, I apologize. And then part number 39 with the thicker piece down, a diagonal up, goes into the right hole there. And 1 on the bottom. So they should match up. Next part is number 74A, which is located on board number 4. There's A and B. A is on the one on the right. So that one goes onto the diagonal piece with that little burnt thin line to facing top. It goes onto the diagonal tabs here. And then part number 43A, which is on board number 3, top left, right here. Plus part number 42, which is on board number 2, right at the center, a little bit to the right there, above the middle. So 42 goes with a thinner tab into the hole. That's our step number 7, and we're moving to page number 7. Step number 8 would be inserting the little tab first into the bottom hole right here, and then pressing the thick portion into the opening on the right hand side, just like that. Now we take our wheel sub-assembly and go back to our boat, turn it around so that points towards left. We put the gear into that center hole right here, lining up with the gears right here, matching them, then turning it around. And that sub-assembly that we just did, that goes where the wind-ups goes right into that gear that we just inserted. Now the little wheels, offset wheels, they go into that hole on the bottom, and then that whole piece goes into the tab, matching all the holes and pushing the tabs in, just making sure that we get all of them, because there are a few of them there. I don't think we need to worry about the wheel just yet, although when we're pushing it in, it might get on the way. So now the wheel should rotate the gears. Gears should rotate that offset wheel. And once we snap everything in place, looks like I got everything, all the holes. We need to sub-assembly 252s and number 53. They're all on board number 3. Not sure. 52s are on board number 3, so they're a little bit to the right of the center line. And 2 of them a little above the middle. And then looks like the number 2 board has pod number 53 right at the center towards the middle there. So first thing first, we do the 53. That's our key. Line up the holes and make sure you insert the whole thing, and then that goes over the little wind up mechanism, so the holes protrude through the opening there, and you insert it all the way in. It's almost close to the surface. So next step, number 12, we need part number 33, which is on board number 3. It's the nice piece bottom right here. It says Ugears on it. A little looks like a pendulum. The 2 parts number 32. Let's see which are on board number 2, top right hand side. I'm gonna use the tool to push those out. Helping tool. They're kind of small. And then part number 31 also on the same board. Number 2, a little to the left above the middle, then to the left of the center line. So with the Ugears facing away on the part number 31, 2 32s go into the little slots. And then part number 31 goes right over them. Creating a little pendulum there. We need to wax this little sharp corners here. Then insert part number 34 on the bottom right of board number 2. And then part number 35, board number 3 next to 33 there. Part number 34, the thicker portion on the top here goes towards the right hand side. Push it all in, and then 35 locks it in. And then 2 92s, which were on board number 1. I'm going to have them sitting on the side there. They go over on the right hand side. So we'll need to sand them first. And put a little bit of wax. Once we're done with that, we can put the 92s on the little tabs of part number 34 on both sides. And we're done with step number 14 on page number 7. Moving on to page number 8. Put that all sub-assembly aside. We need the 40 millimeter diameter, so that's the small one, small thin rubber band. Create a loop, and we need it about 11 millimeters. So I guess that scale is not up to scale anymore. It used to be. So you use the little helping tool to get it at the size where you need it to be. So I tied up the little nut on a rubber band and then slice it off with the X-Acto knife. And then we need part number 36, which is on board number 2, bottom left, right here. Pull it out, and then there's a little, I guess a tab on the left-hand side. So you put that rubber band right in there, slide it up as far as it can go. Now we put part number 37, which is also on board number 2. It's on the right here. That goes from the side where the little lines are at, design lines, and that goes into the bottom holes with the, let's see, with the little tab that is closest to the edge on the left hand side, just like this. And then we need part number 38, which is also on the same board. It's up bottom right, with all the design facing outwards away from you. And that portion goes into the openings, 2 left ones on both sides. Just like that, snaps in. Now we need another small one, rubber band. Make another loop. Just wrap it around your finger, push it through. And that one we need it at about 20 millimeters. Made it a little bit too long, so I'm just going to do another loop over the one that I did to get it in the right position. There you go. So my second loop, and I also slice it off with the X-Acto knife. Put the rubber band aside, and that one goes on part number 40, which is on board number 3 on the left hand side here. So with the round portion facing up, insert the rubber band in the little slot that is facing me, kind of like a little hook. Here we need to wax inside right here. Use part number 41, which is also on board number 3, bottom left here. And that part number 41 goes through the hole and into the back. The only square rectangular opening that we have on part number 36 goes right into that in the same way as you were holding it with the rubber bands. So we complete that, and then we need part number 46 and 39 on the outer surface of that unit or sub-assembly that we did. Both of those are on board number 2. So 39 is the top right here. And 46 on the bottom left. And then 39 goes on the right hand side into the 2 openings right here in a big square piece. And with the little diagonal portion sticking up, and 46 goes on the left hand side, so the only 2 rectangular openings that we have left there. All right, so moving on to the page number 9, 74B, which is on board number 4 on the bottom left there. With a little line that is facing up and a thicker portion on the left. Just like that. And then part number 43B, which is on board number 3, top left, with part number 42, which would be on board number 2, in that middle piece right here, or a little bit to the right of the center line above the middle. So 42 goes into the 43, and then that the other way around. Make sure that facing up, and then we insert that sub-assembly first into the 39, and then into the board here, just like that. Yep. Put it in the wrong one, so it needs to go in the bottom hole, and I put it in the top. It's easily fixable though. All right, and now the pendulum, we get the sub-assembly, the longer part facing toward the back, facing towards the right side. We get the pendulum with the little hook, larger hook facing towards the back, inserted into that hole right here in the middle. And then the sub-assembly that we just did, it goes right over, locking everything in place. So make sure you get all the holes fitted correctly. And then you can connect everything else and push all the other components into the tabs where they belong. I think I got all of them. There's 3, some internal ones, also good. All right, and then the next step, we need to make sure that the middle portion is moving freely, all the gears. So now we need to fix it up, the little wheels there, make sure they match with our gear at the center. And now make sure that everything's moving. So the wheel's moving, the gear's moving, and then there's the wheel in the front is moving. So it's nice, easy motion. We're good on that. Page number 9. Moving to the page number 10. We got part number 30, which is some parts fell out right now. It's on the board number 2 on the top right here. It's a nice long, very thin part, so make sure you don't break it. That one goes from the bottom. Or no, from the back. I apologize. So we spread it up a little bit. These two parts to get the tabs into place. So in the back it goes into the little tab opening. Then we need to get this on the side. Fit it into the correct holes. Tabs should go on inside. Oh. So there's a little tab there, which should go in a small hole on the sides. So it's kind of wiggling it around a little bit, making sure you get it in the right hole. Once you get it in the right hole position, we can back it up on one side. Just a little tiny bit, so you're not breaking it yet. And on the other side is the same thing. Need to get it into that hole. Tabs into corresponding hole in the back. And make sure the wheels are back in place, because mine slipped out a little bit. And alright, they're back in where they're supposed to be. And now we lock these two tabs in the back. So we have a nice carcass going back and forth. So those are the steps 1 and 2. And then after we do that, we grab our rubber band from the front, the pendulum. So the rubber band that is in the front there. We grab it all the way from the bottom with a hook. And we bring it down onto the little tab right here. Locking it in place. And the next step, number 5, because we need part number 225s and 226. Both of those are on board number 2. So 225s. Top left, and 226s in the top right. So 26 we do need to sand a little bit. And put a wax on them. that's our step number 6, but I'll do it before assembling them. And then 225 snap right into each other, and then 26s on the right and left side of them, locking them in place just like this. And then moving on to the page number 11, and that goes in the back on the right hand side here. You spread the little parts apart a little bit and stick it in there, and then push it back together, I guess. Now we need two parts number 44, and those are on board number 3. These are little round cylinders here, thin cylinders, and those I would remove the connection points, wax it on the outside, and they go over those 26 pieces on both sides, kind of to keep them in place. Just like this. One is on the left and one is on the right, or vice versa. Just like that. The next step is part number 45, also on the top right. That's this big piece here. Oh, the one on the back. And that one with a thicker portion on the left, that goes right into those holes on the side right here. Spread it apart a little bit and it should fit right in, and then in the back we lock it down with the other 2 tabs there. On the back, at the back. That was step number 7. Once we're done with page number 11. Moving on to the page number 12. Here we need part number 49. That's the other portion there. Then parts number 48 and 48A and 48B. So 48 goes on the right, 48A facing down, and 48B goes on the left. Parts number 47 are located on board number 2. Were located on board number 2, so we have them on the side now because we took them out at some point of time. So we need 4 right now for this assembly. You can use your fingers or you can use the little tool, helping tool. So 47s, they go through these 4 tabs or openings. And into the parts number 48 on the bottom. And 48A and 48B. And then 50A and 50B goes on the top. And those 2 are on board number 2 also. So 50A B goes on the left hand side, and 50A goes on the right hand side. So we're done with the front portion, and now we need the thick rubber band, the 10 millimeter. We cut it in half. And then it should be about 170 millimeters. So 27 to 20 to 37 would be 670 millimeters. So I slice off the extra part, extra length, and then we need part number 51, and both of those are also on board number 2, bottom left here. And then it goes into the slot there, so let's see, also stretch it up, slide one side end first, and then slide the other end, and it should sit there, oh, almost flat. It doesn't though, but that's fine. Make sure you insert them the same way. Just stretch the rubber band and then it should go in place where you want it to go. So it's a little, the opening is a little smaller than the thickness of the rubber band or width of the rubber band. So just make sure not to pull it out all completely. And then that, we get it inserted into the openings on each side. So on the sub-assembly we'll hold it in place, wrap it around, and insert it on the opposite end. Just like this. And then the front, that's like a bump, goes like all the way at the top and into the openings on the part number 39 there. I want to probably adjust it a little bit and pull the rubber bands out a little more. So it actually will be tight on the front rather than floating around. So I pull these parts out. Wrap it around so it's nice and tight and it actually holds together. Maybe not that tight. Oop. But it does need to give us a little bumper. So just a little tight, not too much. We'll remove just excess just in a second. And then we insert it into corresponding holes on both sides. Just like that, and then the front is done. We're moving on to the page number 13. So nylon thread. We need about 300 millimeters length. Which is 30 centimeters. Extras put on the side for now. Make a knot at the end. As close to the end as possible. And then we need 6 rubber bands, which are the longer ones, the thin long ones. They're 60 millimeter diameter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Pull the thread through them. And also create a nut and 2 rubber bands, just like this. And then that thread goes onto, let's see, where is that? Onto the inside of that little hook on a big gear that we made. So it's a little tough to put it on there, but you can move it very carefully. Just need to grab enough length so it gets wrapped up and it's hooked. And now as we do that, we'll pull all the rubber bands back. And then rubber bands, they go through that little wheel barrel that we made in the back, in between there, through the hole towards the bottom. Just like this. Once we get all the rubber bands, okay, we do them one by one onto that little hook through the bottom. So the way it works, I'm just holding him and we're doing one by one. Doesn't matter which one you start with. So we push the hook, put one rubber band by the wheels, put one rubber band onto that hook, and pull it around. and onto the tab on the bottom there. That'll be number 1. And then we do it, my assumption, all 6 times. Correct. So 1. Then we separate the rubber bands, grab the second one. Get it on the hook, get it in between the rubber band. Around in the same sequence. Number 2. Number 3. Actually, I'll hook all of them up at the same time. Go towards the top. Hook them the other way here. Go towards the bottom. And bring them all onto the little tab. Just like that. Then straightening them up on a barrel in between the hooks there. Just like this. So they're all nice and tight in between. Move page number 14. So they're all hooked and all sitting on that little tab in between these 2 holes that are on the opening there. So we're all good. Then step number 1 on page 14, all the way to the right there, we need part number 54, and that goes on the front. That's on board number 3. Bottom right. So, and what that opening where this hole is at, we put it right push it towards the back, kind of like slide it into little openings there. And then parts number 55, they're also on board number 3 on the top right there. They go with the bigger piece towards the bottom. They go into the openings like a little tabs on the back of the boat, bottom left and bottom right. There's only one way you can insert those. Then step number 3 also, it's on the back with part number 56, which was above the 54. So it's also with the little doors. So the doors now on the left is the boat facing towards the front. And that's, there are 2 tabs that you put it on and press it towards the back. As far as it can go. Done with page number 14, moving on to the page number 15, to parts number 57. Both of those are on board number 2, top left here. So, and those go with a single tab and the holes facing down into the bottom portion here, I think. No? Let's see. Hard to see. So they go into the little opening on inside of that part that we just put in. 56, just like that, kind of like a continuation of the longer piece right here, with the holes facing down. 58, 2 of them on board number 2 on the bottom left. Those 2 tabs go into the little opening on the side here, right close to part number 57 that we just put. So, and the tab goes into that hole. Push it in on one side and then on the other. Then next step is part number 59A and 59B. They're on the bottom. 59A is on the left hand side and 59B is on the right hand side. Those go with a little slot facing outwards from the bottom onto the hook up onto the part number 57 at the same time into that larger piece that we just created. Engaging slightly, it's kind of like a little step on one side and then on the other side. Also the cutout facing towards the outside. Next step is part number 60. So our board number 2 is empty now. I can pull it in the garbage. Next part is number 60, and it's the bottom right of board number 3. And then with the diagonal piece facing towards the back, it kind of locks all that little assemblies together. And the next step is part number 61, also on board number 3, bottom center. That goes at the top there. Kind of creating a not little boxes. Not sure what to call them. Little steps here on both sides. Next step is number 6. We need parts number 62, which is on board, was on board number 3. It's out of one of those pieces that fell out. Then we need parts number 63, 2 of them. And they're also on board number 3, top left. Need to wax a little bit that rod 62 and then 63 with a longer portion facing away from you. 63 are inserted with the straight part on the right hand side, so pay attention how it's drawn on the little instructions. Step number 6, So both of them should match the same direction. So the straight piece is on the right side, and then the curved side is on the left. Just put them together. Then the next step, number 7, we need 2 parts number 92. We got those here. We need to sand them and wax them. Do that. Then we need to wax these gears that we just put on. And we need to wax gears number 64s. 64s are on the top left of board number 3. And we need 1 part number 65. Get the burrs out. First, then 92 to lock it up. So we got a nice little assembly here, page number 16 that goes at the top. Locking with the gears a little bit. And then we put number 71 at the front. That's step number 2. With a little line towards the top. And our next step is part number 67 and 66. They're on the bottom right center of the board number 3. And then we insert that piece. There's a little hook towards the back and left, and we insert 66 from the bottom. And then now we pull that rubber band that is sitting right here with our little hook. As we pull it up, we take part, kind of like pull it up and away. We take that sub-assembly that we just did with a hook towards the back. And to the left, we slide it in. Let's see. No. We get that rubber band onto the little tab that we just did, and then we put that part in. Just like that. So the rubber band is hooked on that part number 66. Our next step is page number 17, step 1. We take part number 72, which is on board number 4. And that's right at the center here. And that one goes on the left hand side, kind of underneath the little step that is sticking out here. And we snap it in on all the tabs that are available. Just careful not to snap the part itself. Locking everything in place. And then we poured part number 73, which was right next to it, and a piece right next to, or on the side on the right. Same way, kind of slide it in from the top. Until they both flat, just like that. Now we need parts number 68 and 69. They're both on the same sheet. 69 is on the right, and 68 is on the left, and 68 is on the right. Just like that. And then parts number 89. Let's see where they at. 89 on the bottom here, and 90s. So 89's first with a hook facing up. We'll go on part number 68 on the bottom hole in the front there. There's a directionality arrow. And then the second 89 goes in the same hole on the left hand side, bottommost in the front. Part number 90 goes onto the second hole from the bottom in the middle on both sides. And then part number 70 which would be on board number 3, was on board number 3. Together with parts number 92, we still have a couple of them. Somebody goes on the back through the circular hole, and then 92 locks it up from the other side. All right, so 90 connects on the other side to 70, and then the same thing we're doing on the other part, 69. Same thing, 70 through the little hole, and then 92 on the other side to lock it up. All right, we're done with step number 4. Step number 5, we attach these parts into the sides of the boat. So let's see, so there's a little tabs here. You just need to match them up and get that attached. Make sure you're careful getting those in and squeezing and attaching it to the main body. And then on the other side, part number 69, the same thing. Start from the back or front, whichever is more comfortable for you, and then squeeze them in into this assembly. And boat is complete on page number 17. Step 5 is done. Boat is not complete yet though. Moving to page number 18, step number 1. We need parts number 75. Both of them are on board number 4. So let's see, 75, they're top a little bit to the right of the center line. And let's see, both of those go with the diagonal facing towards inside, towards the gears. One is the hole right here, and then the second one, that's the hole on the opposite end, also facing towards the gears, and creating a canopy, I guess. Then part number 77 and 76, also on the same board to the left of the center line. So 76 is going to be on the front side, and then 77 on the rear. So we just pull these part out a little bit, and we insert this into that little cutout on parts number 75 on one side. And they snap into these slots right here on this side, just like this. And then same thing on the opposite end. So we slide it into part number 75, and then carefully pulling it back into the dedicated slots. Finish up 75, just make sure that everything is attached completely. And then 78 and 79. So 78 is from the back. This side. And 79 from the front. In a slot of part number 76, just like this. The next step, we put a cover on top, number 80, also on the board number 4. That's step number 5. Now with the sharper point towards the front, and that gets installed on the tabs of a little 75, 77, oh, 78 and 79. You need to wiggle it a little bit to get those in. To get it all fitted all the way to the end. And then parts number 84. Let's see, they're also on board, and 83. They're also on board number 4 on the right, a little bit above the middle. So 83 and 84, kind of get them off of the, unclicked from the board a little bit, and then push them out with the tool. Now we have little side with a sharp corner here, so 90 degrees versus here's a rounded off. So the parts with the sharp corner is going to go towards the center of the boat. So 83s, let's install those first. Let's see, and those with the tab facing towards inside of the board, sharp corner towards the back. So 1 and 2, and then that sharp 90-degree corner, it's going to be towards the center of the boat. We put the number 84 attached to the boat, and that number 83. Now we need step number 7. We need parts number 85, 2 of them. Let's see, 92 and 86. So 86 is top right off board number 4, and then 85s, let's see, they were parts on board number 3, so I already pulled out the little centerpiece. So 85s, and then 92s also that were on board number 1, the little round pieces. So first, with a shorter tab, 85, we insert it into the 2 holes right here, all the way until it stops. Then the next one, we got 86 that goes over it, all the way in, and then 92's right on top to lock it up. Then we go to page number 19, and we do the same thing in the front here. So same thing, we need 2 parts number 85. Part number, which were on board number 2. Then part number 86, that's number 4, top right. All the way top right, and then 2 92s. That's the only ones we got left from board number 1. So once again, the shorter goes into the holes, shorter end of number 85, all the way in. Then we put a 86 on top, as far as it can go, and then 92s to finish it up. Step number 2 is part number 87, which is also on board number 4, top left corner. Need a little help with a helping tool. That part goes right in front here on the top of the boat. Two little tabs. And then as far as it can go, it can't go too much, so it's still sticking up a little bit above the surface, or not a little bit, there's a space in between. And then part number 88 goes on the right side here, or left side. Don't remember the full terminology. Marine terminology, so I can tell you exactly which side is which. So that's going to be left side in the direction of the boat movement, and then the right side we got the second part number 88, which that was additional that I pulled up. That was on board number 4. Both of them are located on board number 3, a little above the middle on the left here. So there's one just extra in case if you break it, as it is a fairly delicate part. So we install it on both sides, left and right. And then step number 5, we need parts, well, 47 we got here, which was on, I believe, on board number, was it 4? Oh no, it was on board number 2, that 47 pieces. So we need parts 82A, 82B also on board number 2, part that we already have out. So 82A is going to be on the left, 82B is going to be on the right. Then part number 81, this is on board number 4, a little bit to the left of the center line, above the middle. So that one with the little sharp pieces facing away. 47 goes from whichever side you want to put it in. Then 82B goes on the right and 82A on the left, just like this. And then that whole sub-assembly goes into the top holes facing, with the sharp points facing forward. Because that's the antenna that goes up. We're done with page number 19, moving on to the page number 20. Now we take the nylon, let's see, we need rubber band. We take this small one, the 40mm one, wrap it around, loop it around, and create a nut. And then we measured 12mm, between 11 and 12mm. Tie it up, cut off the excess. Then we need a thread, nylon thread. Just the long one, brown piece that we had left. And that one we need 600mm, so 60 centimeters. I'm gonna measure it. I got 58, 59. Gonna go a little bit over. Just to get about 60 centimeters. Slice it off. Let's see, and we need to loop it around the little rubber band piece and create a knot there. So I'm just making a knot on a nylon string. Doesn't have to be any specific one. And then that goes, let's see, underneath the boat. We'll turn it upside down. Just careful not to break it. So there is one hole in the back right here. So that's where one end of the string goes into. Pull it up. It's the one without the rubber band. So just feed it through. Pull it up. Pull it on the other side. And then the second end of the string, it goes, let's see, there's a yellow dotted line. So that goes inside. Got it. Underneath the surface, there's a little tab. So that's where we hook. So it goes right underneath the, to make sure it doesn't overlap any of the parts. Feed it through. By the wheels there. So I got it out, and there's like a little hook there, so that's where you hook the rubber band onto. So let me get that part out and get the fingers in there. A little tough. You can kind of hold it from the bottom. And I can and then you pull on it just to make sure that it gets hooked on there, just like this. So it's hooked on that little tab, and then you pull on it with on a string to come outside. That goes through the, we feed it through the hole here. Keep the pressure a little bit on there so it doesn't fall off. So feed it through the hole on the top. Then it goes down, and there's a little hole here in the front. And we, let's see, go through the hole there. Now it's nice and straight. Let's see, and then we need to loop it. A couple times. So you might want to get it stretched a little more. So it's nice and tight and has a little bit of like go to it because of the rubber band. So we feed it around a couple times. Probably do like 2 times through or 3 times through. Wet it up a little bit so it feeds through fine. And then we create a nut. And cut off the excess. Just like that. Now we take a linen thread and we need about 250 millimeters, 25 centimeters. Let's see. Then we do put it onto the part number 91. So we need 2 of these 25 centimeter ones. So there's a little bit of an extra length just in case. So get it to the right size. And then we need 2 parts number 91. Both of them are on board number 4. There's a bunch of additional parts right here, including 88, which I have left on board number 3. So anything additional you can find right here in the bottom right corner of board number 4. So back to the assembly. We tie up those parts number 91. Onto the linen thread. One and 2. Two threads, and then that goes, let's see, hooks in the front here, goes through the hole here. And then we turn it around. Turn the, I think it was port number 70 something. Put it through there. Now make a nut. Let's see if there's a nice picture of that. Yes, make a knot at the end so it doesn't fall out. From the hole. So I guess I'll do like a double knot to make sure it's thick enough not to get out. Just like that. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So put a port number 91 into that little hook here. Go through the part in the middle and then into the hole, and then make a thick knot at the end. Just like that, and that shouldn't come out. So now pretty much our boat is complete, tugboat. Now we're going into the page number 22, and that's where we're talking about the operation. So we put that to the right as a stop. And then tie it up about 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our go. And because there's a lot of friction, it doesn't always move right away. So we need to see what's stopping our parts from moving. And there is a little disconnect at the top. Something is blocking it off. And let's see. I'm just checking all the components where the block might be. That part is fine. That one's fine. Pendulum is moving back and forth. Okay. Here you go. There's just a little bit of burr somewhere in the operation, so now it starts going. And it's all good. So all I had to do is just move the pendulum back and forth a couple times, and then the operation resumed. And so let's unwind it, stop it again. So that stop will lift up a little tab here, wind it up about 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we set it on the ground, and press the start, and then the boat starts going. So the more times it's gonna operate, the faster it's gonna start going as the parts adjust to themselves. So we'll try it one more time. Not faster, but smoother. 4, 5, 6 times, and here you go. And that completes our assembly. So just to stop it, you click that switch fast, and then it pops it up and blocks off the movement, stops the boat from operation. Then you can turn it back on, stop it. Let's see, this is pretty much, and we're done. So if you have any questions, feel free to write a comment below or send me email at info@ugears.us. Once again, we do part replacement if anything breaks. Just send us email once again at info@ugears.us. We do need a picture of the broken part just to determine what was the reason on it, or if it was not a manufacturer's defect, because we do watch it closely. If the model was not purchased from me, I can order it from the manufacturer, and usually it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the delivery of the part. There's no charge. And if you want to expedite it, there is a small $3.50 shipping charge, and I can ship it from US warehouse, which reduces the time down to 1 week. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and see you guys next time.